Morning all, this is Steve Rowlands, as promised. Um, my spiritual chat and Q&A is going ahead today. Unfortunately, I've tested positive for COVID, so I'm feeling dog rough. Um, Morning Claire, how are you? Hope you're well, alright? You've been in the wars recently, haven't you, with your pneumonia? I will continue to send you healing, okay? Alright, there's one or two things I want to talk about this morning. Just from the demonstrating mediumship perspective. But anyway, uh, if anybody else would like to comment, that'd be great. Alright? So I don't want to sit here talking to myself. It depends on how long my throat lasts out, because last night, after an hour and a half of giving messages, I had to stop because I felt like I had half a ton of blooming glass in my throat. Yeah, I agree with you, Claire. There's everything going about. It's that time of year. Hiya, Nina. I'm still going to have a go tomorrow. I'm still going to demonstrate tomorrow. Alright, because I demonstrated mediumship last night and managed to get spirit through. So I'm going to have a rest tonight and see how we go tomorrow. Alright. Hello, Nicola. How you doing? Hope all's good with you, wherever you are. Thank you very much, Nicola. Okay. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. It's lovely to see you all here. Every time I do a demonstration of mediumship, I always tell people that you get out of spirit communication what you put into it. If you put the loving energy and all the rest of it into it, I always tell, like, whoever's there, that if you're just going to sit there all blank faced with your arms folded like that, you know, how would you feel if, I've just got myself a cup of mate, James. Good morning, fella. I always tell people that, you know, if you're talking to somebody and they're just having their arms folded, blank face, without speaking to you, consider it rude. And that's how spirit feel. And that's how I feel, because I'm the parrot in the middle trying to get their message across. And I told them this, but virtually everyone last night, even though the messages hit home and everybody was saying thank you, lovely and evidential, I received upliftment and all the rest of it, but there was just people, you know, when I'm giving them messages, there was the people sitting next to them going, but I just think, you know, there's one gentleman, the first gentleman I come to, I mean, he was lovely, and he was saying yes and no, and I don't understand, and all the rest of it. But it gave confirmation back to me and back to Spirit that the information had got through. So then that allowed Spirit to bring the next bit in. You know what I mean? And I feel he got more out of his message. So people, you know, it took me 2.5 hours to drive to Pevensey last night. And it took me 2 hours and about, let's see, 22. It took me about 2.5 hours to drive back. Yes, I do private readings, Nicola. But anyway, yeah. And all I get for it is petrol money. I don't get anything from it in myself. It's just that I love to pass, as most mediums do, we love to pass on those messages from Spirit. It is our purpose to express the divine will of the Great Spirit. And bringing upliftment through those messages is what we do. Okay, I hope you're still attending my circle, Nina, on the 7th. Alright. I saw Janet last night, she's lovely. I can't wait to have her in the circle. Alright. She's got a lovely energy. Well, so have you, Nina. What more about? Yeah, I do private readings, Nicola. If you'd like a private reading, please inbox me and we'll sort a time and a date out for you. My fee for a private reading is £30. And I think that's quite reasonable in today's day and age. I don't want to get into what mediums charge or anything like that. Alright. But basically, you're just paying for my time. I've had to take a week off now, work now, because of this COVID, and I'm not going to get paid. So if anybody wants to book me for a reading, that would really, really help. All right. Okay, has anybody got any spiritual questions? I've sort of like covered. What do you think of people sitting there all blank faced when you're giving them a message? Um, you know, do you agree that you get out of spirit communication what you put into it? You know, yeah, I'm looking forward to teaching you all, but my guides have already given me an exercise for you girls to do, so it's looking good. Um, okay, I'm just going to wait and see if a question comes up. All right, this is dedication. This is I'm doing a live full of COVID. but it was said to me last night. You know, like you've driven 2.5 hours to be here, aren't you going to stay the night? And I said, well, that's how we did it in the old days. Yeah, plumbers are yeah quite expensive these days. We're having a bit of building work done here, and I can't say how much an hour he's charging us because I don't want the wife will probably tell me off for you know putting it out online, but it's a lot of money. All right, um, yeah, okay. It works out roughly to about 50p a minute a reading with me, but anyway, yeah, okay. So what do you all think? You know, um, funnily enough, you know, I won't talk about that because I don't want to embarrass the lady. All right, but I've got another beef, but I don't think it would be very kind to put it out there. Um, but anyway, this is about spiritual chat. So if anybody's got anything to say, we've gone from 8 to 5 viewers. So let me know what you think, or if there's any questions you'd like to ask. Yeah, I probably am, Trisha. All right, but I'm working part time now, which does give me a rest time. I'm busy right up until Christmas. Okay, I haven't got as many bookings next year as this year, so I will just take the time. Yeah, I agree 100%, Nina. All right, they want the best reading possible, but they're not willing to confirm if you're on the right track or not. I don't know where this comes from, actually. First of all, I was blaming celebrity mediums, but I'm not going there charging them sort of like £10,000 to be there or £2,000 to be there. I'm just charging my petrol. I'm getting nothing personally for me out of it. So where they think the con is, or perhaps they think I'm trying to brainwash them, I don't know. But if there's anybody could enlighten me on why they just sort of sit there like that. Oh, Dinky Dawn, how are you? I've been meaning to get in touch with you. If you've seen my post this morning, I'm Tom and Dick, so I'm going to slow right down. Hello, Mandy, for the next week. Okay, but I will be in touch. Re your spiritual development, and I need a copy. Okay. It may be COVID because it's just like a cold. If I was you, I'd get yourself tested, Dawn. All right. Um, because I thought it was a cold, but it's COVID. All right. Um, but yeah, so it was said to me last night. It's taking you 2.5 hours to get there. Are you staying somewhere tonight? Well, the Premier Inn costs about £100 a night, so I would be seriously out of pocket. So that's why, if possible, I drive back. But obviously, if it's somewhere like miles and miles away, and it's like takes me um, 5 hours to get there, I will ask the church if somebody can lend me a settee for the night. Okay, all right. Postman Patch just arrived as well. All right. Yeah. But somebody called me a dinosaur for travelling to churches. Why don't you do it all on Zoom? But I personally think that in a church or a centre, you've got there's more heart. You can really touch the energy. You can really touch the communication between spirit and whoever they're giving a message for, and you can really feel the energy of the upliftment given. Okay, so I prefer to do in-person demonstrations. Yes, I still do Zooms. Okay, um, I mean I serve Centre of the Open Art in San Francisco, so I can't sort of like fly over there 2 or 3 times a year. It costs me too much money, so that's where Zoom comes in handy. But Zoom also comes in handy for people who can't get to church and stuff like that. All these hurricanes blowing and they don't feel like they want to go out. So that's good. Please don't let me talk to myself. Please keep talking to me. Is there anything anybody would like to talk to me about? Okay. Today is the 7th anniversary of my dad passing away. Now you'd think me as a spiritualist medium, it wouldn't faze me, but I do miss him as much as anybody misses anybody else that has passed into spirit, and it is the physical loss. So I want to say to the whole 9 people that are here, you know, it affects us mediums as much as it does anybody else when we lose someone. Okay? Um, it's just pure and simple, that physical loss. You know, my dad comes to me most days and he speaks to me most days. It's not like I don't have a connection with him, but it's just having him around. You know what I mean? So again, that's why I say, you know, proving life after death isn't the whole answer. Okay, we prove life after death, but we still grieve, don't we? That sadness never goes. Okay, there's me and all the other mediums running around the countryside proving life after death. But like last night, 2 or 3 people burst into tears when we brought their loved ones. It still hurts and it's still sad, you know. But I think the teachings of spirit should come forward to help lessen that sadness, to understand where our loved ones are, what's happening to them, how they communicate with us, how we can communicate with them, stuff like that. Okay, as I've said many times before, you know, and as I said last night, that, you know, our loved ones are only a thought away. You know, we can pray because prayer is thought, or we can just think of them, and that draws them close, and that will help create the connection with us to help them communicate. That's right, Dawn. That's very true. And however, what we mediums do to prove survival, we're never going to be able to give that. Not unless you're in a physical circle. And if spirit decree that they can do that, the spirit do that so that we can get loved ones to touch, you know, the hand of their loved one on earth. It takes a lot of work for spirit. I just wish people would realise just how much work spirit do to get their I miss my dad's awful jokes, Mandy. They were so bad they were funny. Alright. But what I want to say is that spirit put a lot of effort into communicating with us. Okay, and they do their best. They do their best to continually develop those that are mediums like me that are channeling channeling their energy to people. And then you've got people there like that. It's hard work. And speaking as a medium, when somebody's doing that to you, and you're in a room full of people, it makes you feel a little bit small. You know, because the people listening don't know whether it's right or wrong. But there again, it is a public demonstration. We do wrap up messages as much as we can. You know, so only in public demonstration, so only the person understands. All right, okay. Has anybody got any questions? More coffee. I do realise you guys are 40 seconds behind me. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, as suggested by the lovely Hazel. I'm going to read one of my poems. Right. This is something I mentioned last night, Dawn. What I said last night was I've been demonstrating for 39 years and I've been giving evidential mediumship to virtually the same people, and people still want evidence. Are we that needy in our mortality? You know what I mean? I think we should use evenings of mediumship as like a get together with our loved ones. You know, with not so much emphasis on the proving of survival. The proof of survival should be that for those that are very new to it. That's just my thoughts. Okay, I'm just looking for a poem that I can read to you all, because the lovely Hazel said I should read a poem. She ain't about today, which is typical. Right, I'll read this one. Right. Yeah, it is like a form of greed. Yeah. You know what I mean? But as my guide Lee said many, many years ago, way back in 1978 or 79, once you've had the proof of survival, then the journey of learning and understanding comes, where you connect with spirit and you discover the universe and how it all works and everything like that. Okay? Can I just say to people that I've had 4 evidential mediumship messages from mediums in 44 years of spiritualism for myself. I agree. Okay. We also should realise that if our loved ones in spirit can see us having a bit of trouble, they want to give advice. They don't want to prove survival. So let's be just giving proof of survival just so that the recipient of the message knows who we're talking to. Alright? But Spirit have told me this, you know, we want to give the message. You should be giving the message, not just pure proof of survival, because we aim to help people and uplift people. Right, I'm going to read this message called Why. And not this message, this poem, and it's called Why. I was just sitting there one day and I was feeling sorry for myself. But then my guide stood close and, sort of let me know that I've got a really good life compared to a lot of people. And a lot of the people that I've worked with, you know, I can say that I have a much better life than they have, you know, in my when I was working in social care, healthcare. But so I'm going to read you this poem. Why? Why should I ask God to help me with my woes? I am well and live a comfortable life, blessed with a connection that has guided me through life's dark and unkind times. Why should I ask God to help me? So many people suffer in so many ways. Why should I seek angelic blessing when so many more are deserving of divine grace to strengthen and uplift them, vanquishing the suffering of this world? God speaks silently to me within my heart. You are the vessel of my love. Rise above your woes, tend to the suffering whenever you can. You are my servant to answer the prayers of the suffering through my love and divine will. And I hope you enjoyed that poem, because that also sums up to me what a medium is. Okay? We're there to uplift suffering. Part of that is giving evidential messages. But what I do know is that spirit, our loved ones in spirit, want us to live the best possible kind of lives that we can. So we should really not be sort of like dwelling in sorrow or thinking life's against us. We should really be trying to make life as beautiful as it can. And spirit teaches how we can do that. You know, I remember once upon a time in 2011 I had to practice what I preached. I read it out next Sunday, Jackie. I'm doing the reading next Sunday, and I'm serving Woking next Sunday, and the lovely Jackie Shellard Millard hopefully will be there, because I haven't seen her since lockdown. Alright, it would be nice to touch base with you again, Jackie. And if you would like me to do that as a reading Sunday, that'd be great. Alright, quick plug here. My poetry is available. I've put all my poetry into one book, and it's called Reflections, and it's available on Amazon UK, and it's at a cost of £7. Okay? Right. And thank you, Tricia. That makes me humble when somebody tells me they enjoy my poetry. Okay? But a few people have said that they're good for giving readings in church and all the rest of it. Yeah, Jackie, I'll give Why as a reading tomorrow, and then I shall launch headlong into the address, as you do. All right. That's just brought me to a little point. Years and years ago, I've done a demonstration. I forget where it was. I think it was Hayes, and this lady come up to me and said, "Yeah, thank you for a lovely service." Blah blah blah. She said, "You're very blasé in the way you put it over." Okay. Has anybody that has seen me demonstrate here found it very blasé? All right. I'm waiting for Jackie to comment on that one, because I know she'll probably will do. You take your time, Andy. All right. Follow doctor's orders. It'd be lovely to see you at church. Okay. I miss you, because you make the nicest cup of coffee in there. All right. But I'm not doing messages at the moment. But what I can just say to you is do everything that promotes your well-being. Okay? Whether it be in mind, body, or in spirit, or especially with you, your lungs. But do everything that promotes you. My wife's chucking hankies at me, because guess what? With COVID, you use lots and lots of hankies, and I'm going through the Vic Sinex spray like nobody's tomorrow. That's what I meant next Sunday, Jackie. Check. All right. Yeah, well, that's lovely, Tricia. Thank you for saying that, because years ago when I first started going to Manor Park Christian Spiritualist Church as it was then, I was termed as a natural medium that had to develop it. Okay. Nice one, Jackie. It's nice to get a check out of you. Right. Hello, Colette. Hope you're well. Alright. How many people meditate here, and how do you find meditation? And where do you see the spiritualist movement going over the next few years? I'll be interested in hearing your thoughts. Alright? Because I'm just a working medium. You know what I mean? I will just turn up to an opening of an envelope. Alright? If they want to book me and pay my fee, pay my expenses, I will turn up. Okay? But how do you see the spiritualist movement progressing over the next, say, 5 years? Because they always ask you that question in interviews, don't they? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I'll retire in 3 years and so many months, so I don't think about 5 years. I just want to get to the finish line, you know what I mean? Okay. That's good. Grounding and protection is very important. How many times have I told you that? Feet on the ground, reach for the stars, young lady. Alright? We're going to be doing a bit of that. Actually, I will message you sometime today or tomorrow because I think somebody's dropped out. I won't say. Right. I'll talk to you tomorrow, young lady. Right. That's interesting, Colette, because when I first started out, I was sort of like nearly 18 years old. And one night, a medium gave me a message from the platform. He didn't know me from Adam. And he said, they've started you off young so young people can understand you. Well, now I've aged 44 years, you know what I mean? And I often think when I see younger people in the congregation or the audience, whichever way you want to term it, do they just look at me as somebody that they could learn from or get a good message from, or do they just see me as, I will say it, as an old git? Alright? That is a little question that I ask myself. But mediumship is about communicating to all levels. I should be able to communicate to my age and older, as well as, say, an 18-year-old. Yeah, it's the way you tell them that's very important. Alright? Spirit will teach you to communicate to all levels of understanding. What you're saying to one person, you might not necessarily say to another because they won't understand it. But I always find when I'm demonstrating that Spirit know best. So what do you think of that? Where do you see the spiritualist movement going in the next 5 years? Okay? Is it all going to go online? Because churches are suffering. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm so humbled, Dawn. Yeah? You tell your Olivia, respect. Alright? Okay, I was doing that when I was 30. But, when I was 40 when I was on the door. But, you know, that's good. See, Dawn's just backed me up. Her little girl, Olivia, listens to me because she finds me honest. We should be honest in whatever we're giving from Spirit, whether it's talking just like now, or we're giving messages, or we're doing the address, or whatever. Okay, we should be down to earth and honest. Yeah, I keep saying to people, we've got to be an empty vessel for Spirit, but you know, there's only a few people that listen to me for that. I'm teaching you that, and I don't. But anyway, right. I'm just reading Trisha's comment. Well, what I want to say to you, and I sort of like did a post quite a while ago, ranting and raving, and I've done a few addresses on the subject. The SNU teach that you've got to give just purely evidence, but as I've said, you know, if you've got a loved one in spirit, that I agree with that 100%, Jackie. Looking forward to seeing you a week Sunday. Actually, we can have a chin wag. Get your cuppa and bring it in the medium's room. We'll have a chin wag. All right. And where was I? Right. With the SNU, they train people. Their philosophy is to only give um, purely evidence. Whereas I'm telling people, yes, give the evidence by all means, but realise that them loved ones, or them spirit guides or angels, have a message to help them people through life. Because really, with evidence, you're only telling people what they really already know. And and I only use evidence just to so that the recipient of the message, you know, knows who I'm talking to, who's giving them the message. But as the lovely Trisha just said, get me and the missus a couple of loaves of bread and send them by courier down here, will you? Because she's got COVID, I've got COVID, we can't go to the shops. Now let's go back to what Trisha was saying. I think it's very important, and this is the way I was trained, that we should give all what Spirit are saying to us. As I've said many times before, it can come in pictures, it can come in emotion, it can come in thought, it can come in feelings like physical feelings and everything like that. Okay, Janet, I've been talking to Joe a lot. All right, and anyway, I think it's very important that we give all messages, give the whole message of what Spirit says, because when you start saying we'll only give evidence or we'll only do and want it or work to a formula or put it over in a certain way, you're vetting Spirit, and Spirit can't be vetted. It's like, you know, if you really want to tell somebody you love them and why you love them and all the rest of it, and somebody comes up and says shut your mouth, you can only say these bits. Nice one, I'll be there early as well. All right, black coffee, no sugar, with a dash of cold water, please, Jackie. Right. Okay. Yeah, I hope you've recovered from COVID, Janet. This is my second dose, so I'm really hoping it goes forth and multiplies as soon as it can. All right, because as I'm working for an agency, if I don't work, I don't get paid. All right. Okay. All right. But what do you think of all that? Should we work to formulas? Should we tell people, tell Spirit what we expect from them, or should we give the whole message? Obviously, there is certain do's and don'ts. We never tell anybody of a death. We never, basically, we never tell anybody anything that can do harm. Okay, we never tell anybody of an upcoming death or they're going to get ill. We just say, look after your health, or that person's lonely. Please spend some time with them. You keep the healing for yourself, Janet, because you're recovering. All right, I'm going to do a healing meditation and sort myself out later. All right. Lovely to see you again, Colette. You take care. Check. Lovely job. Okay, right. Or should we just go out there and do it? Because that's what I tell people. That's what I've told mediums that are nervous, especially new mediums that I work with. I've just said, just go out of it. Just go out there and let it flow. Because that will be the most natural way of working. Don't start thinking, is this right or that's wrong, or it seems a little bit daft or whatever to blurt that out, or look stupid in front of 20 people, or whatever. What I've found, the simplest things and the most stupid things have the greatest impact. You know what I mean? The most to whoever you're giving the message to. So don't be afraid, alright? If you can remove your own thoughts and feelings to one side, and aches and pains, you then become the clear vessel. Alright? So, what I want to say to you is, for those that are developing mediumship, please put yourself to one side. Leave yourself, outside the church and the centre, and be a clear channel for spirit. And you will find you will get far better results. Alright? None of this is being taught now, or I don't think it is. They just get them all round in a circle and they teach them how to pick up and give off. We're dealing with spiritual realms, spiritual energies. So of course we've got to understand, how we, in the physical, in the world of matter, communicate with them, innit? Alright? It's like if you're trying to tune into like magic radio, but you're getting interference from Radio 1, alright? Then you haven't got a clear connection. So let's call Radio 1 your own thoughts that are staining whatever spirit want to say. Okay? Also, as a medium, you've got to do your best. This is going to sound funny now as I'm sitting here with COVID, but you've got to do your best to keep yourselves well. Because if you're knackered or you're unwell or your worries me because, life's full of problems, then you ain't going to be as effective for spirit. So please, 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 people, for those that are getting out on the platforms or developing mediumship, healing, whichever they're developing, know that it's our responsibility to look after ourselves. Alright? Anyway, we've only got 4 people watching. Alright? My throat is getting sorer and sorer and sorer. Alright? If anybody's got any questions, please ask, because I just feel that I want to say farewell at this time, okay? Because the wife wants to watch Wolverine, you know what I mean? So yeah, I want to crash out on the settee, feel sorry for myself and watch Wolverine with her. But if anybody's got any final questions, please ask. I'll give it till 41 or 42. Will do, Janet. You take care of yourself too. Right, lovely people, I'm going to go because my throat feels like I've got 1,000 shards of glass in it, and as my grandmother used to say, that I've got bear's breath, okay, deep voice and that. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. I always enjoy talking to whoever turns up. It's lovely. And the next one should be next Saturday again, because I'm allegedly working next Sunday. Okay, anyway, God bless you all. Take care.